This is 8.3a of geometry. So we're going to start talking about trig stuff. And this goes with our similar right triangles and the ratios and that sort of thing. Here's the official way of writing out the trigs and what they mean. The abbreviated versions are what we're really going to be working with. So I'm going to draw a triangle that we can look at. If we have this right triangle, and let's say we're looking at this angle here, there's three different sides we need to label: opposite, adjacent, and the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the easy one to start with. It's always the same side. It's across from the right angle. So the hypotenuse goes here. Opposite is the side that's across from, or opposite basically, across from your angle. So this one's opposite. And adjacent is another word for next to. So this is the side that's next to my angle. So this is the adjacent side. This is pronounced sine. This one is cosine. And this one is tangent. An easy way to remember these, that the sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and that cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent, is SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Right? So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So let's try using it. I would suggest writing SOHCAHTOA whenever you're using these. So they want to know what are the sine, cosine, and tangent ratios for angle G. So we're looking at angle G here. First, our hypotenuse. That's the one that's across from the right angle. This is our hypotenuse. The one that's opposite or across from our angle. So this one's opposite. And this is the one that's next to our angle, so adjacent. So the sine of angle G, so sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so we get 15 over 17. The cosine of angle G, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so we get 8 over 17. And the tangent of G, tangent is opposite over adjacent, so we get 15 over 8. And there we go, there are our ratios. So we got a story problem with the Leaning Tower of Pisa. We're just going to do some regular triangles ourselves. So I'm going to write SOHCAHTOA off to the side. SOHCAHTOA. So they give us this angle here, the 54. So this is the angle we're looking at. The one across from the right angle, that's our hypotenuse. The one that's across from our angle, that's the opposite. The one that's next to our angle, that's adjacent. So we have numbers and variables for the hypotenuse and the opposite side. So we need to look for which one uses opposite and a hypotenuse. That's sine. So we're going to use sine for this first problem. So for A, the sine of 54 is equal to, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so we get W over 17. And then I'm going to solve for W. So I need to get rid of that 17, so I'm going to multiply by 17 on both sides. The 17 just sits out front. You can't multiply into that angle, right? This is 54 degrees. You cannot multiply the 17 in there. Equals W. And then on your calculator, I would suggest starting out with doing the sine of 54, hitting the equal sign, and then multiplying by 17. So we get that W is equal to about 13.75. Okay, B, let's start labeling sides. Here's our angle, right, the 28 degrees. This one's always our hypotenuse. It's across from the right angle. This one is across from it. So this is the opposite. It's opposite from the angle. And this is the adjacent side. So the labels that we have are on the adjacent and the opposite. So we're going to use tangent. So the tangent of 28 degrees is equal to, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So we get 1 over W. I don't know why they wrote 1.0, but we're just going to go with 1. So I get confused about switching things here. So my trick is I just multiply both sides by W. So I get W tangent of 28 degrees equals 1. And then to get rid of the tangent of 28, I need to divide by it. So I get W alone. So I get that W is equal to 1 over the tangent of 28. And when I do that on my calculator, I get that W is equal to about 1.9. Okay, last one here. I'm given this angle, 33. My hypotenuse is the one across from the right angle, right? The one across from my angle is the opposite. The one next to my angle is adjacent. So, which one uses adjacent and hypotenuse? That's a cosine. So, cosine of 33 degrees is equal to, we're going to do adjacent over hypotenuse, so we get W over 4.5. So then I need to multiply both sides by 4.5. So I get 4.5 cosine of 33 equals W. And when I do that on my calculator, cosine of 33 times 4.5, I get that W is equal to 3.8 about. And there's your homework.